Hey everybody, this is Bo back in the Sports Lounge. Man, we found a lot of love going on right now from the Hit Squad. The Hit Squad's got guys going all over the country doing big events. Nothing bigger than what Brian Foster's going to do at the UFC. Buddy, how you doing?
Pretty good, how are you?
Good, man. That's what, UFC 103 with Vladi Mashenko, correct?
Yeah.
Pretty good, man. God, you know what? How did this all come about?
What, how I got started or how the fight got prepared? Or what?
Yeah, the fight. I'm sorry, man. How did the fight get set up and how did it go through? How did they call your number to step into the role for 103?
It's been kind of hard to find the opponents lately, you know what I mean, with the record that I have. And local shows, you know, kind of don't want to pay me what I want to get paid, so we had no other choice but to try to get on the big show.
Absolutely, man. So, leading up to the fight, what are you kind of like working on to prepare yourself for it? You know, it's going to be a major pay-per-view event. There's a lot of people on this card. A lot of eyes will be following it. God knows how many YouTube specials will be set up. But for yourself, what are you kind of doing to get yourself charged up and peak at the right time when you step into the octagon?
Just keep a good pace with training, man. Stay on routine with it pretty much, you know. We don't really train any specific areas. We try to keep it all pretty much up to par, but for the most part, man, just trying to stay busy, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different fighters that do a lot of hand skills, a lot of ground and pound with the dummies. A lot of guys ride bikes, ride ellipticals. They try to make sure cardiovascularly they're going at the peak performance because they know when that door closes and that adrenaline rush hits. If you're not set up for cardiovascular, you're having some struggles.
Well, it's kind of died down now. You know, we're kind of on a paced training regimen right now, but it's like there for a while it's getting a little rough, you know. You kind of start toning it down 4 weeks to it, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, September 19th is just around the corner, and there's already bites out there about who's fighting, what the results are going to be. I mean, there's predictions all over the place. But for yourself, when you look at Paul Daly, have you had a chance to look at any video footage of him or kind of what his results have been?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff on him, man. He's a solid striker. Some of the best that the UK has to offer, really, you know. And he's got a lot of experience. He's a very tough opponent.
Absolutely, man. You're doing a nice little Lou Holtz there, man. Always talking about your opponent in the upbeat manner, giving a lot of love out for himself. That's what I like about you guys. You guys really do like each other. Take care of it. As far as your training goes, a lot of athletes we know from years past, whether it's, you know, Randy Couture's or Tim Sylvia's, a lot of them will watch videos, but do videos to make sure that they're training to the right way. They don't want to mimic. They don't want to copy. They're not trying to really understand what that fighter's going to do because it can change at a given moment. Bell rings, you step out, things can change pretty quickly. But as far as the video, what are you identifying for yourself, some major opportunities that it's not really tricks of the trade, just something that you sort of, exploited?
Yeah. Well, we try to really, like, we get to know his strengths, we get to know his weaknesses, you know. We really don't try to, you know, change our training to fit the fighter in any kind of way. It's just, we just try to incorporate some of the stuff that he's not so good at, you know, so that it becomes pretty much muscle memory in what we're going to do.
Absolutely.
Like he, you know, like he was a really good leg kicks and stuff. So in sparring, we just kind of like try to get a lot of guys to simulate leg kicks. You know.
I mean, right now in the UFC and MMA, one of the big things that a lot of guys leave off, and it's glaring at times, is the leg kicks, is the slaps. On TV, they don't look like they hurt, but if you talk to you guys, some of those can hurt a whole lot.
Man. Oh yeah, the ones that you don't hear actually hurt the worst. You know, the ones that you hear that kind of slap, they don't really hurt much, but it's the ones that you don't hear that hurt.
Yeah, I mean, Bass Rutten, I think, had one of the best leg smacks I've ever seen in my life. He could win matches just by slapping your leg.
It can sure leave a bruise, man. For sure.
Now, Brian, a lot of athletes get very superstitious leading up to a fight. What is Brian's superstition?
Just don't get over hypes, man. You know, don't feed into what everybody says. Every fight's, you know, different, but you just try to, you know, stay level-headed, man. Just know that it's a fight. It's just like going out in the parking lot and doing your thing out there if you have to. You got no choice. It's going to happen, so just try to stay level-headed with it.
Yeah, now the fun side of it is that we know from past guests, we know from experience, some of the most loyal fans are in the UFC. Once you step into the octagon, you become identified with the UFC as always. And when you step out, win or lose, It's got to feel good to have just scores of fans who you've never met come running up to you asking for your autograph, to shake your hand, to pat you on the back. Have you ever seen fans as frenzied as in the UFC?
No, I haven't, man. I mean, I've had some good hometown fights. You know, a lot of people stand behind me there. You know, they support me on a different kind of level that a lot of other fighters get. But it's like, I mean, that's pretty much the reason why I'm here, and they've helped me to get to where I'm going. And I'm sure they'll be a part of the UFC's, fan club as well now.
Absolutely. Now, the nice thing is that the organization that you're part of, you've been training, has some of the best fighters going right now into the pro circuit. Every time you step out there, you stepped in as a raw recruit. Now you're a superstar inside of the club, the Hit Squad, and you're going to be very recognizable in the UFC. How have things changed for you being part of the Hit Squad? Because a lot of guys are probably looking up to you right now.
Yeah, man. They got me pegged as one of the guys to follow for sure around here, man. I just try to stay above ahead of the pack, give them somebody good to look up to. As long as I can train hard, they're like, well, I got to try to meet this guy's standards, and it keeps everybody going hard, man.
Yeah.
I love it around here, man. We got everything here. We got a great facility, great coach staff. Everything's great here, dude. Everything.
If you fight as half as well as your record demonstrates, you're going to have some good years ahead of you in the UFC. At 170 pounds, that weight class is full of some of the best talent anywhere. I think a lot of guys are cutting weight trying to get into it.
Them guys are the ones that's going to have the problems if they're making huge cuts like that, really. It's gonna take a couple trials to get, comfortable at this weight class. You can't just drop a lot of weight like that and expect to come in and do good, because there's repercussions of cutting that weight like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Rory Markham, which we had him on, he jumped a lot of weight and got knocked out by Dan Hardy. Hardy took care of business, but Rory, unbeknownst to us, I think, or anybody, he had to drop a ton of weight. And I think that's the big ramification when you look at your weight classes, that there's guys at 180 that are trying to get into 170. You're comfortable at 170, where most of those other guys aren't. And you're probably going to have the advantage over them. We know that Doomsday Howard is awesome at 170, and he's one of those quiet namers out there that are coming up the ranks very quickly. After this fight, you obviously don't look past your competition, but if you make it through this, is there any talk of the next match in the UFC?
No, none at the moment, man. They won't disclose that information to me until afterwards,
Oh, yeah.
One fight at a time deal, and they keep you on that basis alone. Maybe when I get farther into it, they'll give me some leadway as to who it would be afterwards, but at this point, it's not really a big deal,
Now, have you had the opportunity? Now, I know Matt Hughes is very big in your dojo. It's got to be kind of cool to show up and see a legend in just college wrestling, a legend in MMA, step through it, shake your hand, talk to you, show you some pointers. But when you've been to these big events and there's other faces that are there, who are some of the biggest faces you've seen that you were just impressed that they were there sitting in the audience?
Fedor Emelianenko.
What?
Would be about the only one that caught my attention like that.
Who? What? Say it one more time.
Fedor.
Oh.
Heavyweight in the world. Oh man, it was getting to see that guy was just like, hell yeah. It's a good deal, man.
Yeah, we feel the same way when we're out at different events at college wrestling programs and there's a coach over there. We get kind of stoked when we're out in the public, get a chance to rub elbows with some of y'all. It's kind of impressive to see the reputation of the fighters carry forth, how they are on the radio or on TV. We're just impressed with the success you've had, Brian. You've got an awesome reputation. You've got some definite big fights coming up in your career. And we're going to be on your side and make sure we broadcast the message out to the world. So thank you for the time.
I appreciate it, buddy. You bet.
Hey, Brian Foster, MMA out of the Hit Squad regime, Matt Hughes style. We get an opportunity to follow him today, and we're going to pick him up on September under UFC 103, just like the other buddy, Vladimir Mashenko. Thanks a lot, buddy.